So one of the great things about being out drawing live is that you can get a real feel of nature and time. That'll make a nice painting. There's lovely trees, a tractor, that bright red. When you're out in nature, we tend to be in a bit of a rush, walking, mountain biking. But here, if I'm quiet for a second, you can hear the birds. There's weaver birds over there. And then you start noticing the workmen and their radio, they're talking. I'm in South Africa right now, in KwaZulu-Natal. These cottages started off looking like that, and now they're absolutely gorgeous. Inside, this is a little farm that a friend of ours owns, Tracy and Simon Woodland. Right, so the first problem I'm having are the flies. They seem to have found me. And then I've also got the problem of working with the Ipad Pro, is the light is reflecting and the iPad is quite heavy. So in an ideal world, I'd be sitting down right now. But I'm going to choose a color. This is actually a brown, a deep brown water. And I'm going to do a very simple sketch of this watery scene. Okay, so I'm not going to talk too much so you can listen to the birds. And Simon Woodland. Right, so the first problem I'm having are the flies. They seem to have found me. And then I've also got the problem of working with the Ipad Pro, is the light is reflecting and the iPad is quite heavy. So in an ideal world, I'd be sitting down right now. But I'm going to choose a color. This is actually a brown, a deep brown water. And I'm going to do a very simple sketch of this watery scene. Okay, so I'm not going to talk too much so you can listen to the birds. See if this works. Nice. So I'm now going to lighten this to a light blue. See if it works. And I'm going to change the brush a little bit. Just going to have some fun with some, let's do a sketch. Yeah, shading graphic. Let's see what that does. We're going to do a little bit of light and blending. The cool thing is you're experimenting all the time with water, and You never really quite know what's going to work. The important thing in the art world is that you try different things, and that's how you grow. So this is actually starting to work. Flies are annoying me, but that's fine. I can handle it. Sometimes when you're drawing live, you spot also insects that are on you that you hadn't ever seen before. I'm just going to put some more of that blue in there because these are trees and they're not perfectly solid. So you're probably wondering what is going on. I'm just putting the solid colors in. I don't know if you've been watching my series. There's always something new going on, and I'm trying a different technique this time. And it's always, like I say, always good to experiment. So I'm going to move that. So we're going to do a little bit of more of that charcoal effect. There we go. So we're just trying everything. It might be too solid. It doesn't matter. It's all good fun. See, this color isn't just solid green. I'm just softening it a bit, but it gets darker as it gets closer to the water. And this is I'm going to show you how water effect really works in a minute. I'm just setting up the image for you. Okay, so now I've got this green. I'm going to make it a bit darker. I'm going to make this line a bit stronger. And here's the reflection. Oops, mosquitoes. Now I've got mosquitoes biting on me. I'm just going to make that a bit wider. So this is where you'll start to understand reflection. Ooh. We'll break that up, that line. It's a little bit too harsh. But now you can see a bit of plants, the grass reflecting on there. Yeah. I'm going to do it this side as well. I'm doing very basic, but this is a good lesson on how to really look at your subject closely. Okay, so we've got a bit of that. I'm going to add more, but in the meantime, I'm just going to do blue. I want to get these lines a bit more. There we go. Okay, so the next thing, I'm obviously going to do the trees, because they're definitely missing, but you'll see it all come together. It's pretty much the same. I think I'm going to get a little bit more brown. There we go, a little bit darker. Okay, it's pretty close to the brown that we've already got. I'm going to add, sorry, that's a mosquito. I'm going to add a few warmer touches of brown in here. Can't really see it very well. It's not all just solid black. Now I'm going to go to calligraphy again. And I'm going to put that base in again. Okay, keep it. I'm going to keep blocking it. You're probably wondering what I'm doing. I'm just Trying to keep some of the branches so it has a story, because these are trees. And there's another tree here, and then it gets darker. So we've got more trees. Oop, low battery. Okay, let's see if this works if I drag it. Almost. That almost worked. I'm going to combat that with a bit of blue-grey sky. Let's do that in there. Nice. And blue-grey sky. Oops. Color that in. Okay, so I don't know if you can see how this is starting to come together. Bit of blue. Change the brush to sketch again. Bring it down a bit. Okay, we're going to break up some of that blue. You'll see how that comes together in a minute. I'm going to do some lighter greens. Don't like that green. Let's go a bit lighter. So now we're showing that tree that I was talking about before, with the shadow underneath. Another tree here. This one has a bit more light on it, sticking out a bit, so have it coming down a bit. This one is a bit more bluey, this one. It's funny that. Okay. I quite like this charcoal effect. It's funny, this tree trunk is a little bit that color as well. I think it's the moss. I'm just going to have a bit of fun doing a bit brown on here. Okay, this is definitely going to have some branches. I'm just going to get that green back again. A bit more dark green. So that's the beauty of doing the dark first. I wonder if this will... I want this green to be a bit more green. There we go. So in a minute you're going to see some of that reflecting in the... And it's important that we keep that blurry effect. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can see now there's more green in the brown. We're just adding as we go along. We don't want to make it too obvious. We still want to keep it dark. There we go. A little bit more green in here. This tree, I don't want to do too much on the background trees. this one is I've got to put the cottages in, or should I just leave them out? Let's leave them out. It's quite nice when you're painting that you can make these decisions as you work, because it really doesn't matter. Although my friends might be a bit upset that I've left the cottages out. I'll just have to come back. So we're starting to get some effects. Just going to go darker. Soften this line a bit. So the fun bit coming up is that we're really going to accentuate in a minute. I'm just going to make this lighter here. We're really going to accentuate the light and the dark. So I'm just going to make this darker here. A bit here. There's a path here. A bit darker here. A bit more variety. It's getting a little bit too might make that more green. Okay, so standing back a little bit, looking at that, the first thing that jumps out at me is that this branch needs to be reflected. So we've got, oops, flies. We've got a branch here in the water. It's a fallen tree. And then we've got this one. And that needs to be reflected. And it goes the opposite way. So that means that this one will go this way. And this one that's reflected further down this way. And because it's further away, it's less obvious. I'm just gonna got to get the right color. Hold on a second. So that one has a bit of gray in it. Okay. And this one has a bit of gray in there. And this one. Okay, so there's a little bit of reflection going on there. And we're going to blur it a little bit again. And I think we're getting there. I'm now going to do the dark, almost black tree trunks, branches. So we're just going to do that now. Don't want to do it too harshly. So for example, these trunks were here. And I'm going to do really deepen that shadow because that's quite a fun area of the tree. It's dark, dramatic. just tree trunk. And I'm going to accentuate the dark behind that. And this one. You can hear the dogs barking. They are naughty. They're actually barking at probably monkeys, which is probably a good thing because they're eating all the plums. This is actually a plum orchard. I'm going to make it a bit darker down here. Bearing in mind it's quite dark and I can't really see what I'm doing, but I think it's coming together. Keeping it rough is always... Oh, I just spotted a boat. I'm going to have to put that in at the end. Going to roughen this up a bit. And let's get that's nice and dark behind there. I'm also going to do some more trees, darken shade. Okay, now I think that's pretty good for now. We don't want to do too much. I'm just going to bring some plants from here because this is where I'm standing, and it just gives you a better idea of distance and perspective. So I want to roughen that up a bit. I'm going to do there you go. I'm just going to do some light green. And that should uneven, keep it uneven. Just roughing it up a little bit more. Making this a bit lighter. And a bit of light behind that tree. Don't want to distract too much. Sorry, my battery's running out. Too much from what we're trying to do here, so I'm just going to keep that simple. A bit more. And I'm actually going to have fun with the blue. Going to lighten it just a touch back here, so just a bit more drama. Because I did a block colour there, but I want to make it a bit more interesting. So let's roughen it up a bit. Bit of light and shade going on there. I'll put some more light and shade on the water, and I think we have a water effect. Yep, we do. Happy with that.